Over the past few years, I've built my personal brand to over 320,000 subscribers on YouTube. And in the last 18 months alone, my personal brand has generated over $373,000 in revenue. While everyone else is trying to automate everything with AI, I was actually using AI to just speed up my content creation process, and this actually helped me brainstorm better video ideas. Most content creators either completely ignore AI and they just don't use it at all, or they try to use AI to literally automate everything. But I found this middle ground in between that actually works. And so today, I'm going to be showing you exactly how I personally use AI in my content workflow, from research to scripting to coming up with viral video concepts. And I'm going to show you the exact prompts that I personally use, how AI helped me create some of my most popular videos, and most importantly, I'm going to show you how this all translates into real revenue for my business. So if you're trying to build a personal brand, but you're struggling with content creation, or you're spending way too much time on the scripts, this video is going to change everything for you. Now to begin, we're going to be talking about why most people use AI wrong for personal branding. So the first mistake is that most people think AI will magically do all the work for them. So as an example, let's say someone's using ChatGPT for the first time and they want to write their YouTube scripts. Hey, ChatGPT, write me a script about XYZ, and done. And they just call it a day, and they'll just use the script and say, oh, AI wrote it, so it must be good. And then when they make the video, they put it out there, it just doesn't work. And why doesn't it work? It's because the content lacks authenticity. It doesn't feel real. It actually feels like an AI wrote it. If everybody has ChatGPT and all these other AI tools, then the playing field is now even. So if everyone has the same tools and information, what's going to be happening from this point moving forward is that the messenger, the person delivering the idea, now becomes more important than the message itself. And this is why every day people are looking for real, authentic people that they can connect with. And they're going to connect with your unique stories, your personality, the things you actually went through. Because if they want to learn it by themselves and learn from a robot, they'll go to ChatGPT. But when they want to connect with a person and actually relate to them, they're going to go to YouTube and find someone like you. Now, another mistake people make is that they're failing to use AI as a brainstorming partner. So I've discovered that the way you want to use AI, doesn't matter which tool it is you want to use it as your second brain, not as a worker, right? Everyone's saying, oh, you got to automate and these agents will write all your scripts and analyze all your competitors. The reality is it can do that, but if it doesn't have that human touch where you're curating the different ideas, the output never comes out that good. And all these guys talking about, oh, I'm using AI to automate everything. If you really look at the scripts and the content and things that the output that it's putting out, it's usually not that good. And they're just selling you on the idea of just press a couple buttons and make money, right? So instead of relying purely on AI to do all the work, use it as a brainstorming partner to help you accelerate the ideas that you have, but you still want to add your human touch. And I'll tell you a personal story. When I started using ChatGPT, I was using it to write a lot of my emails. In my newsletter, they weren't getting the response rates and open rates that I was looking for. So I sent it over to one of my friends who was really good at copywriting, and he told me, he's like, yeah, these are decent emails, but it literally looks like an AI wrote it. And so now I have to go back and change all of my emails, because if it looks like an AI wrote it, people aren't going to read it because it doesn't feel personal anymore. And even if I use AI to write my scripts the same way on YouTube, it's going to feel the exact same way. So instead of just relying purely on AI to do the work, now I found this middle ground where I have to have a seed of an idea. I have to have taste of like what's cool, what's good, what does the market want right now. So here's how I think of it in a simple way. AI by itself cannot write good content on its own. A human, someone like myself or you can, if you put enough time, write a good piece of content. The problem is you can only write so much in a day, right? You have so much energy and so many hours. But when you combine AI and a human put together, and you keep a standard of quality, the content is going to be good, but the efficiency of being able to generate a bunch of scripts every single day is just so much more faster. And that is how I see people using AI right now. And to show you how all of this works, I'm going to dive into my personal AI research and ideation process that I use every single day to come up with YouTube video ideas and the scripts themselves. So the first thing we're going to cover is how I actually use AI to find inspiration from inside my niche and outside of my niche, right? And so this is just idea generation. So if you were to use something like ChatGPT and you said, hey, give me 10 ideas on personal branding, the ideas are just going to be mid. They're not going to be that great. It's because right now it still requires a human touch. So what I personally do is I follow a bunch of creators that I like, whether they're in my niche, outside my niche. And when they come up with an interesting idea that I think, hey, that's actually different, that's really cool. What if I applied it into my niche, which is personal branding, to stand out? And so I'll give you a live demonstration on how I would do this. So when I'm generating ideas using AI, there's really 3 steps. The first is we want to find an inspired idea. So I don't actually use AI to find the idea. I don't say like, hey, give me the top 10 ideas on personal branding. I feel like it doesn't have that taste on what's, the pulse on the market. So what I do is I follow a bunch of creators that I like, whether it's in or outside of my niche. And then I get inspired. I see what they're doing. I see their packaging and I'm like, okay, that's pretty cool. How do I remix that for my niche? And then once I remix it, I'll take it to AI and be like, hey, this is the idea. Give me 10 new ideas and apply it to my niche. And I would just run it through ChatGPT. And then once it generates all these ideas, I'm going to pick the best one. And then I'm going to create 10 variations of that best idea to see which angle makes the most sense. So let's give you a live example of how I do this every single day. So going into YouTube, one of the channels I really like is called Neighborhood Art Supply. They're essentially a creative agency helping artists blow up, right? So their niche is kind of like personal branding, marketing, but specifically for musicians, right? So it doesn't actually compete directly against me. However, the concepts of building a personal brand and building an audience, whether it's for music or for business coaches or consultants, it's really similar in that sense, right? And so because of those similarities and differences, if I go onto his channel and see like, hey, maybe there's some ideas we can take inspiration from. So one idea that caught my attention was this one, right? So using a tool called vidIQ, I can see the outliers. How much does this perform against its other, videos that the person puts out? The video is how to build an audience of millions of fans. So I already watched this video. It was pretty good. So I'm like, okay, I like this idea of building an audience of millions of fans. How do I take this concept that works for him, his whole aesthetic, the vibe, the packaging, everything, title, thumbnail? I want to apply it to my niche. I want to help my audience with the same thing. Maybe it's not how to attract millions of people, but maybe hundreds of thousands of people, right? I will give you guys a prompt that I use and you can use it for yourself. So the prompt is, you are a top tier YouTube strategist who helps creators, coaches, and service providers build a personal brand and monetize their skills. Brainstorm 10 YouTube video ideas based on my ideal viewer, right? So this is where you input your thing, what I'm selling. So whether you're coaching, consulting, courses, and what makes me different. So if you have any, experience that's unique, this is where you put it. Also put in the video inspiration. So if you copy and paste, the YouTube links, it will find those videos, right? And then for each idea that it's going to give me a strong YouTube title and 1 to 2 sentences explaining what the video is about. Okay. So basically I'm going to take this, fill it in with my information, and then I'm going to run it through AI. So I went ahead and filled this out already. And so we're going to focus on 9 to 5 employees who want to build a personal brand and make money online, right? Which is essentially my niche. So let's go ahead and enter that and see what we get. All right, so let's dive into it. So here are the 10 elite tier YouTube video ideas designed for my ideal customer. And let's get into it, right? So number 1, I was stuck in my 9 to 5. Here's how I built a 250K personal brand. Okay, not bad. How to monetize your skills for a personal brand. Not super sharp. So let's see what other options are. Build your first 10K per month offer. Okay. From 0 to 100K subscribers. What I do if I start over. That's not bad, right? Like AI knows that I have, 300,000 subs. So if I start over, what would I do today? I think this will be interesting for a lot of people. This is why your content isn't growing. I don't think so. This one's kind of interesting. How to build a personal brand without quitting your job yet. Because I know for my audience, a lot of them have like these really high paying jobs. They want to build a personal brand, but they're just like, I don't know how to do both at the same time. That actually is a pretty relevant point, and it is an objection I get on my sales calls. So that is a very interesting video idea. So let's say I want to do this video. I want to help 9 to 5 employees build a personal brand without quitting their job. Cool. And this idea was generated from his video, which doesn't actually have much to do with my new video idea, but because I used it as the base, it basically gave me this idea. So you see, even when you're taking inspiration from other people, sometimes the idea that it generates using AI and your human touch creates something new that you maybe wouldn't have thought about by yourself. Now I'm going to use another prompt, right? So this one is, you are a top tier YouTube strategist who help creators, coaches, service providers grow their authority and monetize through content. I'm building a content series around this core idea. So I'm going to copy and paste the core idea here. And then based on that, brainstorm 10 related YouTube videos idea that is either, going deeper into the main concept, solving connected pain points. So different variations of that idea. And for each video idea, I want you to provide a YouTube title, short explanation of what makes it unique, emotional hooks, thumbnail concepts. So basically the whole packaging for a YouTube video, right? Now going to ChatGPT, I'm going to copy and paste this and fill it out. And we're specifically going after how to build a personal brand without quitting a job yet. So as you can see, when I find one core idea, I'm going to create 10 variations of an idea to find the most unique, interesting angle, whether it's the title, thumbnail, or the idea itself, right? How did I grow a personal brand with only 1 hour a day? That's interesting because I know a lot of people I talk to, they're like, how many hours do I need to put into this to make it work, right? So this directly solves an objection people have on my calls, which naturally lead them to want to buy my services if I can handle the objection in the video. So come up with the angle, show viewers how to build a momentum while still working a full-time job. Based on my research and understanding of the market, there's not a lot of people creating this kind of content. So it's actually different in my niche, right? So this concept is actually worth pursuing. Emotional hook, relief, finally a plan that respects their limited time. Because like a lot of people are like, oh, I got kids, I got to do this, I got a full-time job, I don't have much time on the weekends, right? So how do you actually build a business if you have all those constraints? So image, clock with glowing 1 hour circle, not bad, right? To let people know it's like 1 hour per day. Text 1 hour plan, right? So it's not a bad idea. Why you don't need to quit your job and start making money online. It's okay, kind of generic. This one's kind of interesting. AI tools I'd use to build my brand if I had a full-time job. That's kind of interesting, right? Because it's saying, hey, you have limited time, you have a full-time job, you want to build a personal brand, and AI is really hot. So use these AI tools to speed it up. I think that's a video that people will want to watch. So based on these ideas, I like this idea, but I want to combine it with AI. Okay, so it's going to be how to grow a personal brand with 1 hour per day with AI or something like that, right? I already given you the prompts, but sometimes you have to customize the idea a little bit to make it a little better. So I'll say, I like this idea, but I want to include the keyword AI. So the video is about how to do this specific thing, but using the latest AI tools. All right, so we got the title. How would I build a personal brand in 1 hour per day using AI? So unique angle, show exactly how someone with a 9 to 5 can grow a personal brand and to get AI to handle 80% of the work, right? Emotional hook, the relief and curiosity. That's true because people feel like, finally someone that gets me. And then the curiosity is, how do we actually do this? Like, what's this new AI thing that can do everything for me, right? Then a concept, your arms crossed, glowing robot assistants beside you, giant clock. This one's a bit dramatic, but I can see how it would be decent, right? But anyways, but the idea itself is good. Now, some quick notes as you start using this, you have to understand like what a good thumbnail is and what a good title is. So let me give you the cliff notes, right? Usually for me, I start with the titles in the videos and then I do the thumbnail. Some people do thumbnails first. It really just depends on you. But for me, a lot of what I do is in the beginning is SEO. So the first rule is you want to leverage SEO on YouTube. People are searching different things, how to build a personal brand, how to build a personal brand with AI, how to get a tech sales job, right? It's like when you want to learn something through video, it's going to be YouTube. So leverage SEO. And the best way you can do it is to go for keywords that have high demand and low competition. So how I personally do it is I use a tool called vidIQ. There's free versions, there's paid versions. Right now I have the paid version, but if you just want to get started, there's free version, right? If you want to use this, basically you type in a keyword and it will tell you the search volume per month, right? So this personal brand keyword has 461,000, but the competition is really high. So if you are starting out and you're trying to go after the personal brand keyword, understand you're competing with a lot of people. Now, if you created a variation of a underserved keyword like personal branding tips, it has lower search volume, but low competition. So is it an angle that you can go for? Possibly, because if you're getting like barely any views, but you're ranking #1 for this could get you like an extra 1,000 views per month. Because if you rank in SEO, the YouTube algorithm will naturally boost you up and you will get more recommended views. So when I started my channel, I actually started in the sales niche, right? Like tech sales. So what I personally did was I found these keywords like tech sales, and it would be like, okay, like decent search volume, low competition. And I would go after every single little keyword and just try to rank #1 for all of these. So like tech sales salary and all this kind of stuff, right? And there was like, let's say account executive. Okay, like 2.8K, not bad, low competition. So I would literally think, what do I need to do to rank #1 for these keywords? And if you notice, if you type in account executive, I'm one of the first people that pop up and I have 81,000 views. I might have the most popular account executive video on the planet. And I did this because I went for these keywords, low competition, not the highest demand, but because I felt confident in ranking #1. These are like evergreen videos that still get views. I did the exact same thing for this video right here that has 839,000 views. So we're getting to 1 million, pretty close. But it is probably the most popular elevator pitch video on the planet Earth, right? There's no other video that has more views than me. And this is all organic. I didn't buy any ads or anything like that. This is just a video I put out, did really good SEO for, ranked all the keywords, and then the algorithm just picked it up. Now let's show you another one of my hits. This is how to cold email clients, right? And this is basically me going literally the same keyword strategy, went for the keyword, cold email. A lot of people weren't going for it at the time. And then I ranked number 1, and then now it has 500,000 views. So I personally think that there are many niches, not just in sales and marketing and personal branding, where there are underserved keywords that have decent volume, low competition, that you can rank for all these things. And every time somebody types it in, you could be number 1, number 2, number 3. And that's how you actually get views as a small channel, especially if you are teaching people. So even in competitive niches, for your titles, you want to be perceived as different. Okay. So the key is, if you copy another person who has like 1 million subscribers and you copy their title and thumbnail, you will not probably get the views they have. Well, number 1, they're probably more interesting than you and more established, and they already have a brand. So anything they put out will get views. So if you literally look like a carbon copy, when somebody sees your title or thumbnail, they're going to think, I've seen that already. I'm not going to click. That's why you have to be different. And I'll show you how to be different in a second, but just understand that and have it in your head. Now, for a title, you need to drive value and emotion. So when I say value, it just kind of means like, what are they getting out of this? Like, what are they going to learn? So let's say this video I put out 2 months ago, which I heavily use AI to create. It's how to build a profitable personal brand from scratch with AI. Why is it perceived as valuable? Number 1, I think people look at the length of the video. It's 34 minutes long. So it kind of feels like, oh my God, this must be a masterclass, right? They'll teach you everything. And I put the idea from scratch, how to build a personal brand from scratch. So for people starting out and they don't know much about building a personal brand and they're interested in AI, they're going to watch this video because it will teach them everything from A to Z on how to do it. And if that video delivers on the promise, and it does, that's why it's getting so many views and the retention is so high, it builds a lot of trust and it provides a lot of value to that person because I am teaching them something they want to know. Now, another interesting way to do the titles is adding pain and pleasure to drive emotions. So there are many different emotions like curiosity and, excitement and all these things, right? But from my experience, pain and pleasure is the strongest emotion to get someone to take an action, and more so pain, like people having problems, right? In a subtle way, this title here, How to Build a Profitable Personal Brand from Scratch with AI, it's subconsciously agitating a pain in that for anyone who wants to build a personal brand, but they don't know how, and they want to build this online business, they actually do have a pain. So it doesn't have to be as obvious as you might think. Now for this one, I went for more of an emotional hit, but obviously this one did much better, right? This one is, you have potential, so why aren't you successful yet? The hard truth. So in that video, I was trying to go for trying to attract, high skilled people who aren't successful yet or haven't built their business yet, and hopefully get them to click, right? So that's the mindset behind it. And even when I'm personally doing titles and thumbnails, sometimes they hit, sometimes they don't. That's just the reality of it, right? And it's okay, because you just got to learn from what you could have done better, what you could do different on the next time, and understand it's okay if everything doesn't hit. And real quick on the thumbnails, it's pretty simple, right? You want to make a thumbnail that complements the titles, but doesn't exactly repeat the title itself, right? So if it's how to build a personal brand with 1 hour per day, instead of having 1 hour per day in the title, you can have a calendar, for example, that's all booked out to imply this is for really busy people, right? Thumbnails themselves need to feel different, like I was saying. If it looks like every other person and all the top creators, it's not going to get that many views because people seen it already. And again, drive value and emotion, right? Now I want to touch on the idea of being different real quick. And that is, to be different, you need to be doing the opposite of what everyone else is doing. And it doesn't have to be the exact opposite, but using polarizing examples help deliver the message, right? So for example, let's say in a niche, let's say personal branding, where everyone's flexing, they're renting Lamborghinis, look at my penthouse, this is me in Miami, look how successful I am. When everyone's doing that, it works in the beginning. And then people get fatigued and people feel like it's fake and they just don't connect. So when everyone's flexing, you want to show value. You just do the opposite of what's happening in that niche. Now, in some niches, it's so boring and so how-to content that when everyone's providing value, sometimes you want to switch it up on them and start showing the lifestyle. Show them the result of what you can achieve if you learn whatever the thing they are teaching. So there's no silver bullet. The market constantly changes every week, every month, but you want to just observe your market and think, okay, if everyone's kind of being nerdy about it, they're being so technical, I'm going to make things super simple and easy for anyone that my grandma can understand. But if everyone's flexing and they're just showing their cars and maybe a fake lifestyle, show them the real truth of what you're doing in your day-to-day to contrast yourself from all the fake people. And that's how you're going to be different. I'll give you a quick case study of one of my most popular videos right now that's generating me a lot of meetings actually, just from organic content, right? So this one, like I was saying, it's how to build a profitable personal brand from scratch using AI. So all I really did was, number one, I referenced my performing videos. So I took inspiration from myself. So I had a video right here. It was like the exact blueprint on how to blow up your personal brand in 30 days. And I had another one in the past, how a personal brand will change your life, right? So these two and this one here did pretty well. And so I'm like, okay, like people love the idea of personal branding. So if I kind of just combined these three together, took all the best points and remade it, but added one twist, and I actually used AI to help me come up with that, which was AI became really popular. Everyone's using ChatGPT. So how about how to build a personal brand with AI? So the only difference between this video and this video is really that AI part, right? This one's like the packaging is like in 30 days, so do it really fast. This one is use AI to speed up the process. And because right now AI is trending, there's all these tools everyone wants to know about. This is why it gets views, because I saw the market. Nobody had a video on how to build a personal brand with AI at the time. This is 2 months ago. And then now that I put this out and it's getting me a bunch of meetings and I'm making this video for you and all these people are going to copy me, it's eventually going to get saturated, right? So when you're ahead of the curve, you add one spin, that's how it becomes more interesting in the market. So even going into the analytics of the videos, so far in this lifetime, this video's got 103,000 views, 1.9K watch time. It got me 3.5K subs. You know, the ad revenue, $580. You know, I don't base my business on ad revenue because we can make more by coaching and stuff like that, but it's a nice little bonus, right? So when you have a winner like this, you start to think, okay, like what made this video so good so that my next videos can take some of that DNA and I'll find a different angle. So if everybody wants to learn about personal branding and AI, I'm going to go to ChatGPT and say, hey, this video did really well. Let's find more angles that we can, you know, remake this video and repackage it. And so for this video, yeah, you know, a lot of these ideas, I use the process and prompts that I'm giving you now to create this video. And that's how it got 100K views and probably will get more and more every single month. Even after I give you my prompts and I give you my case studies and examples, I want to give you some tips on how you can use AI for yourself. Number one is you don't want to rely purely on AI to think for you. You've noticed throughout this entire process, I'm not saying, hey, AI, like do all the work for me. I'm doing the homework. I'm looking at different trends and topics. And once I find an interesting idea, then I put it into AI. That's the difference. You still need to have some kind of taste level or a pulse on the market. You need to know what's cool. What do people, you know, what's hot, what's trending? What do people want to know right now, right? Don't think you're going to get all the answers with AI. Like really consume the content, understand your space. And finally, once you do have a seed of an idea, you want to use AI to kind of water that idea into a tree, right? Because AI is this accelerator. It's not like 0 multiplied by 10 is still 0, but if you have 2 multiplied by 10, it's 20. Think of it like that. If you don't have a core good idea, AI will not save you. All right, let's go ahead and get into AI assisted script writing. So now that you have the idea, thumbnail, title, all that kind of stuff, let's actually write the intro of a script as well as the body of the script. And I'll show you how I personally do it so you can essentially copy it and take all my prompts. So a couple notes on using AI to write your stuff. My hooks are written word for word. So I typically have a teleprompter in front of me when I'm doing my intro. When I'm doing the rest of the video, so this part right now, I usually just have bullet points. And even for the intro and the bullet points, AI does a lot of the heavy lifting for me. I would say probably 70% of the work. But what makes the video interesting are going to be my core ideas, my story, the vibe, the aesthetic of the video itself, and really just like my personal experience, right? So I come up with the raw ideas and I just give it to AI and AI polishes it and makes it more easy for me to read and digest and make it easier for you guys to understand. The best way for me to show you how this works is to give you a live demonstration. So if you use this into ChatGPT or any other tool you want, let's do it. Help me write a high retention YouTube intro, 0 to 45 seconds for this video title. So we're going to reference the one that we had earlier in this video. The video is designed to educate my audience on, so you know, you want to put in your specific thing, position me as a trusted expert, even if I'm early in my journey. I know a lot of you guys might be starting out, and grab attention emotionally without sounding overly hype. Format the intro into these 3 beats: relatable, pain, desire, setup. So I always go for the pain in the beginning. So I open a sentence that calls out the viewer's current frustration or dream outcome, right? It's either pain or pleasure. Number 2, pattern interrupt, unique angle. Explain why this video is different from others. Make a bold promise. Share a personal insight that adds curiosity. And if you have that in your head, when you do the prompt, you want to put it in there as well, not just copy and paste this. And number 3, credibility and what to expect. So briefly share what they should add, briefly share why they should trust you in your process without flexing, right? Because I'm not trying to like show a Lamborghini or something, right? And preview what they're going to learn or walk away with. So I went ahead and did this for this demonstration, and we're going to do the video how I build a personal brand in 1 hour per day using AI. And I filled all the information with, you know, basically the people I sell to, and let's see what it spits out. All right, so I'll read it in a way where I'm actually doing the intro, right? Most people trying to build a personal brand right now are using AI completely wrong. They think just because you have access to ChatGPT, they're ahead of the game. But the truth, their content sounds generic, robotic, and worst of all, it doesn't even convert. It doesn't feel like them. It definitely doesn't build trust or attract high-paying clients. Just midway reading that, I've realized this intro doesn't relate too closely to this, the title, right? Which is how to build a personal brand, 1 hour per day. So we need to make sure that it's talking about how to build a personal brand with limited time using AI. So what I've done is I rewrote the script and changed it a little bit, because sometimes you have to tweak. It's not going to be perfect on the first go. And then once it understands what you're going for, then it's going to come out with something that may be more closer to what you're looking for. So let's try again. If you got a 9-to-5 job and you're trying to build a personal brand on the side, you probably told yourself, I just don't have time. But the truth is, time isn't the real problem. Most people waste the little time that they do have creating content that sounds generic and robotic and doesn't attract the right audience. They're using AI, but they're using it wrong. Now, this is actually good, because that's probably what most people are doing. You know, they're like, oh, I'm too busy. ChatGPT will write my LinkedIn post, and then it all sucks. I only got 2 likes. It actually calls out a pain that's realistic, and I know people suffer from this from my personal experience going on sales calls with people like this. In this video, I'm gonna show you how to build a personal brand in just 1 hour per day using AI the right way. No theory, no vague advice. I don't need that, but it's fine. I'll share the exact ChatGPT prompts I use to write my content, build trust, and blah, 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 even with a full-time job. So that's pretty good, because nowadays I know people want to see the actual prompts. They want to see live demonstrations like I'm showing you now. So pretty good. This is the same method I've used to generate over 300,000 subscribers on YouTube, built a multi-6-figure coaching business, all while working smarter, not longer. So if you're short on time, but you're serious about growing your brand, you're going to want to stick around. I would change this line a little bit, make it more snappier, but 80% there. If I just kind of massage the couple words, told you like what I didn't like, what I liked, you know, after a couple more trial and errors, it's going to be 100% there. So you see how easy it is to write an intro if you kind of have that human touch of knowing what people want, having that flair of like, okay, like if they heard this, like it's actually going to be something that's valuable to them, but also learning how to use AI and understanding it's not going to be perfect on the first go. So you have to change it a little bit, or you know, add a couple more prompts in order for it to actually hit. Now that we got the intro, let's show you how we're going to do the body, right? So for me, my bodies are usually bullet points, right? They're not word for word scripts, because I like to just freestyle and go, and based on how I'm feeling in the moment, I would use those examples and stories and whatever, right? But I always have like bullet point script a little bit, just so I stay on track. This prompt is, help me write a YouTube video script in bullet point format. The goal is to educate, resonate emotionally, and move the viewer toward taking the next step, whether that's buying, opting in, or watching another video, right? Because you have different call to actions depending on the video. Structure the script using the following format. The video title, so I'm gonna put the title of the video there. The main topics, so you kind of have to like have ideas of like what exactly you want to talk about. You can have AI generate the ideas, but I think you should know what a good video is and what people want to know. But either way, whether it's AI or not, it's fine. And then use the structure to script each topic. So for me, I typically like to have the title, the section title, right? So what the topic is about. And then my formula is pain, solution, why. So I always talk about the problem first, like everyone's making a mistake with AI. Here's how you actually do it, right? Then I go into the solution so that my solution sounds so much better after I agitated the pain. Then I explain to the audience why it's important. So every single video, like every topic that I talk about, I use this format. Okay, so I'm copying and pasting this template into ChatGPT. You know what? I'm just gonna leave the main topics empty and let's just see what it comes up with, and let's go. So starting from the beginning, it actually gave me the topic, so I didn't even come up with the topics myself. First one, why most 9-to-5ers fail in building personal brand. That is a good first topic, because that's a pain I know they have and they need it to be solved. So if I were to do the slides, I would talk about the pain first, then the solution, and then like why it matters, right? And that's kind of like the script right there. Like you can just go off of that and just talk to the camera. So let's go break the fourth wall a little bit. So even as I'm making this video for you guys, how I personally do it is I actually use Figma, right? So all the slides that you see, I'm literally using, it's like a PowerPoint slide essentially, right? So like 3 bullet points. When I do the actual video, this is what I'm literally looking at. Why it looks so fancy when you see the actual YouTube videos, my editors will take these and they'll just animate it in. It's that simple. It's literally the same as using PowerPoint or Keynote or something like that. So even the prompts that I have, I'm literally just like reading it off of this slide and then I'm copying and pasting it into ChatGPT. So you see, once you have the bullet points, you know, you can have the title, the topic here, and then have 3 bullet points, and then you just start talking. And that's literally how I do majority of my videos. And as long as you have the formula of the pain solution and why it matters, it just always feels right. So this one's pretty good, usable. How to structure your 1 hour workflow, very practical, right? It's like literally telling you 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 15 minutes, like how you actually would use that 1 hour. That actually is good. This might be a video I make later. Next section, ChatGPT prompt stack I use. So all the AI prompts, which is good because even in this video, I'm giving you guys a lot of prompts because I know it's valuable, because like anything you can copy and paste gives high value. Next one, how I use this to grow my 300K subs while running my business. Okay, that makes sense. And then what to do next. So yeah, so I guess this is gonna be like the call to action, right? But I actually don't need this particular section because I have another template for you for the call to action. But overall, this is a good body. Now it's 80% there. I would have to kind of go through it, put in my sauce, my personal examples, but the structure is there. In every video, you wanna have some kind of call to action, whether it's to get someone to give you their email, get a lead magnet, watch the next video, because if you have their attention, you might as well get them to your next thing, right? So write a clear and emotionally grounded call to action that aligns with the video goal. Choose one of the following paths based on intent. And then if you're selling some kind of program, get them to your website. If you're doing a lead magnet, get the email. If you're, want them to see on YouTube and watch like another video, then do that, right? So essentially, depending on what you're doing, you just copy and paste the different ones and then you put it into AI and it will give you that call to action. So if I want them to go to founderx.net and sign up for a free training using this prompt I just showed you, let's see what happens. So if you're serious about building your personal brand, even while working 9 to 5, and you want the proven system to turn into a real income, go into founderx.net and watch the free training I put for you together. So this is not bad. Now, could there be a lot of things that could be improved? Yes, but it's not bad. Will it work? Yes. Will it convert? Probably. Right? And so you just want to use that and get started and start making these kind of content right away. Like, don't think like, oh, script writing takes so long. I literally just wrote an entire script in this, doing it live, right now with you guys, right? You see how easy it is. Now, a couple important notes as you take my process and do it for yourself. You definitely want to balance your AI efficiency, so using AI to write all the content like I showed you, while showcasing your personal authenticity. Because if it's just like raw data and you're just reading off, it's not going to be interesting. You want to let your personality shine through your stories, perspectives, your experiences, and opinions. This is what makes it interesting. Once you just give AI the raw story, that's something that you went through, some kind of pain or struggle you've experienced, you take that, you let ChatGPT polish the whole thing, and it's going to sound 10 times better. So now that we covered how to create content with AI, we're next going to cover turning this content into actual revenue, because if you're not making money, this is just a hobby, and we want to build legitimate businesses. So when you're thinking about turning content into revenue, there's a couple tips I have for you starting out. You want consistency, you want volume, and you want quality. This is the key to building a personal brand. If you have all these three things, you will succeed. It's just bound to happen, right? So better content equals more sales. That's the obvious, right? So what AI allows you to do when it comes to this whole process is AI allows you to increase your volume while maintaining quality. Because if you have to write every single script by hand by yourself, you just can't pump out enough content. So once you have the formula, you know what people want, you have the taste, you can write like 10 of these scripts literally in one day if you really wanted to. Move fast, have the ideas, put them out, and understand that chasing perfection is a trap. Don't think it has to be perfect. It's never going to be perfect. Your lighting's never going to be perfect. Your camera's going to suck. Who cares? Just put out the content and learn day by day. And if it sucks, nobody will watch it anyways, and you just get better on the next one. So once you understand the game of how you actually succeed, especially on YouTube and other social media, is mass producing content that's high quality. That's when you get as much attention as possible. So how I personally do it is I use this system I created called the Create to Sell ecosystem. Okay. So let's say you're building on a platform, and for this example, we're going to use YouTube, right? So I'm making these videos, how to build a personal brand with AI. It's getting a lot of views, a lot of attention, a lot of people who want to build a personal brand, but don't know how. In that video, I'm going to have call to actions telling them, hey guys, check out my lead magnet. And so right now, the current lead magnet I'm running is going to be a free training, right? So they go on to this lead magnet, they watch the free training, and in that training, I basically show them more in depth of like how this entire process works from start to finish, so that, they understand exactly what they need to do in order to build a personal brand. Now, even though I'm giving them the sauce on the video itself, a lot of people still need help, because yeah, information is one thing, but getting help from someone who's done it is another, right? And so a lot of times people will pay for the coaching, the consulting, or just to be in proximity of other people who has succeeded. So a lot of that can rub off on them and they could be successful too. So if they're willing to actually move to the next step, my next step right now is actually to book a call. So when they book a call, they talk directly with me and I check to see if it's a good fit and see if I can actually help them. And if I can, and we agree on the price and everything looks good, then they become a client. So if you look at this ecosystem, it's so simple. There's only 3 steps. And for me to make the maximum amount of money, and I want you to make the max money too, is what? You just need as much attention as possible. You need at least one lead magnet, one way to collect someone's email to move them to the next step, which is booking a call. Imagine you had 10 calls a day and you close, I don't know, 30% of it. You're still closing 3 deals a day, right? It's not that people can't close. The problem is that when you're making content, nobody knows who you are because you're not getting enough views. You're not getting enough views because your content's not good. It's not good because you're spending so much time trying to write the script and you're not getting enough volume. With more volume comes more repetition, comes more better skill set to make better videos. So that's why this whole video is about how to actually make content with AI so your quality can go up, your volume can go up, your skills can go up, and eventually you can get mass attention, drive it into some kind of lead magnet, get them on a call, and you close them. And you don't always have to get them on a call. There are other ways. I've created other offers where they're self-serve, people just buy by a landing page. So understand, if you don't like going on calls, you don't have to go on calls, but if it is one of the easiest ways to sell high ticket, to be honest. So if you think about like my personal day and what I do, all I'm doing really is creating content, monetizing, getting on calls, selling people, and then just doing what I promise, which is coaching people on the thing I'm doing, which is helping them make content and sales, right? So you see how this model and what I'm doing is just so simple, while most people just like overcomplicate everything, but it's really not that complicated. And with this exact system and building my personal brand, I've made in the last 18 months $373,000 in revenue, right? So basically, multi 6 figures per year. And I've been doing that for the last few years while living in Vietnam and building this online business, having a remote team, right? So if I can do it, and I started as literally just a regular tech sales rep, I don't see why you can't either. Now look, if you made it this far in the video, you're probably thinking, okay, Patrick, this AI system sounds great and all, but how do I actually implement this in my own personal brand? How do I even know what to sell, and how do I get people to actually buy from me? And those are great questions because at the end of the day, content is just one piece of the puzzle. The reality is most people fail at building a personal brand, not because they can't create content, more because they don't have a clear offer, what it is they're actually selling. They don't know how to convert their audience into paying customers, and they're missing the business fundamentals that actually make money. And that's why I actually created the program Founder X. Now in Founder X, I don't just show you how to use AI for content. I walk you through the entire system, like how to create a high ticket offer that people actually want to buy, how to build your personal brand from scratch, how to get on sales calls with prospects, and how to close them into high paying clients. And at this point, I've helped a ton of people go from their 9-to-5 job, golden handcuffs, to making their first 10K months with their personal brand in a matter of weeks using this exact system. And here's the thing. I don't just teach the theory, I actually do the work with you directly. We do group coaching calls where I review your content, I help you craft your offer, and I show you exactly how you can sell it. And it's not some course you buy and never hear from me again. I'm literally there helping you and advising you building your business. Now, I'm not gonna pitch you on the whole thing here because honestly, it's not for everybody. You actually need to be serious about building a real business, not just playing around with content creation. But if you are ready to stop messing around and actually build something that can replace your 9-to-5 income, then definitely check out the link in the description. I got a free training video that breaks down exactly how the Founder X system works, how fast you can expect to see results, and whether it's gonna be a good fit for you. And after watching that training and you wanna talk, you can book a call with me and my team, and we will build you a custom strategy for your specific situation. The link is in the description and it's completely free, no strings attached. And honestly, I just wanna help you figure out if this is the right path for you. And if you got a lot of value from this video, make sure to subscribe because I'm gonna be dropping content like this every single week. With that said, thanks for watching and I will see you in the next one.